just a little brief reminder of VizBuzz. Contestants will have 40 minutes to replicate the data visualization we're about to pull from these 6 categories. Over the 40 minutes, they're going to have to replicate it as best they can, and then they will be awarded points judged by me and Libby, judged by the chat, and also judged by the TanBot, the Tantastic VizBuzz Bot image comparison tool. The winner of each will be awarded 5 points at most, 3 points for second, or 1 point for third. And after we are done with this one, unlike other episodes, these same contestants will be going into one more episode because this is the finale. So these are the 3 contestants who have made it all the way here over the last 3 weeks, competing in the final episode. Oh my god. This is... I gotta say, Libby. Oh my god. Oh wait, we're gonna get one that we didn't... we've been waiting on!
This is... Yep. I have no idea what this is. I'm so interested. I feel like you said this one might be difficult. I can't remember.
Personally, I think this one's pretty hard. Let me...
Well, they're all hard.
Just scrolling through some of the contestants' screens here. We got John ready to go.
Aw, look at the little Julia logo in the eye. I love it.
Where am I at? We're at Kwong right now. He is ready and loaded in, and we got our favorite Fairy Faye. Oh, actually, does he have?
He's legit today. I'm so ready. Let's do it.
All right, chat. 3, 2, 1. The timer has begun. Exclamation VizBuzz! Exclamation data!
Ooh.
Tonight, the first Viz is the Many Analysts Viz. Here is what it's looking like here. This is, like I said, it's a little more straightforward than some of the previous Viz that we've had, Libby.
I want to say deceptively simple looking, because there was one we had another time where I was like, oh yeah, we could do this. I think it was the time series one. And then I realized the more I looked at it, the more complicated it was. And you're right, there's a lot of annotation on here.
Taking a look at John's screen right now, and John, he's loading in the data. He has an idea. He has the actual data viz that he's going to work towards on the right there, and he is already diving deep into the docs. Remember from last week, Libby, John had a little problem trying to load in some of the elements for his data viz. Let's go over to Kwong's screen. This is Kwong, and he is, in many ways, the pack leader for the night. Even though they're resetting points, he seems to be the person to beat, Libby.
He does. This is Kwong's game to lose, I guess.
Let's take a look at Tony Alhaber's screen, who, as we saw before, he wasn't going too fast. Now, maybe he was just giving everyone a little head start, Libby.
He was like, I'm too good. One hand tied behind my back. He has got plots. He's got like some whisker plots going on. And I saw a second ago in that plot, we saw those ones on the right-hand side were really, really long. So it looks like he's on the right track here. So the cool thing is, like, each of these is a different research team, and it's a nice way to look like it's almost like a meta-analysis in graph form, where you're like, okay, I'm going to give this to 29 different research teams. Are any of them going to find this huge difference or not? And obviously we've got research teams, whichever the two are on the far right, that found that referees are 3 times as likely to give red cards to dark-skinned players. And no other research teams even approached that, but it doesn't tell us anything about the research teams,
right?
themselves.
Which technically, right, like, in terms of the data, this does make you wonder, like, is this really a question about the
referees or the
referees,
researchers?
The researchers, right? Like, we're talking about different ways you can process your data, different ways you can make the numbers on the paper pop a little more than you typically would. It's easier to copy and paste 6 A's than type 6 A's, apparently. That's what I've learned from the handful of seconds I've been staring at Kwong's screen. Speaking of our contestants, let's have them introduce themselves.
John Edwards, SpriteCoin University.
Tony L. Haber, aka It's Me, Tony, Gooner's You.
Kwong Lin, Strainer, Professor Bottle Services student.
Thank you, contestants.
Did Kwong just say strainer?
He is known in the Big Data Bowl community as the person who helped invent, one of the people who invented the metric strain, which was a Big Data Bowl finalist. Go over to Kwong's screen. Kwong also, he is trying to work with the size of his markers here. He's trying to eyeball it as good as possible right now, and again, doesn't have those confidence intervals in. So do you think sometimes, Libby, like, we know it's like that meme of like putting things in Word documents and then, like, you know, if you type one extra line, it throws off your entire document? Do you think that there's a little of that here if Kwong starts adding in those confidence intervals?
Maybe. You never know, because you add elements to a plot, and if your plot is doing something for you in the background, like it's calculating your limits for you and you're not, then you might have everything shift around and move when you add stuff on there, because all of a sudden your limits are now calculated based on your bars and not anything else. But I bet Kwong has set his limits.
I want to believe.
Actually, I don't see that. Let's live. Maybe.
We're gonna see a really, really tall bar here soon. We also have our Julia contestant John, who is definitely
it's
catching
looking
up.
better.
He is.
Wow. Okay,
catching
that
up.
went. There was like a little bit of struggle happening. We did the predictions, and now we racked to John, and it's like fixed. This is looking great. We're way closer.
This is extremely close, with 17 minutes left to go for the contestants. We're over halfway. 17 minutes left to replicate the data viz you see right here, chat. They're trying to replicate this data viz. Different research teams looking at the differences in possible bias in giving penalty or red cards in this case, based off complexion of a player. Darker skin players, do they receive more red cards than not dark skinned players? Across all of these 29 different research teams, and what the findings were from each of these research teams, it seems like all teams but two were relatively similar, and it seems like their results were, for all of them, minus, I would argue 2 teams, but possibly 4 teams, there was a higher likelihood that a dark-skinned player was going to get a red card more so than a not dark-skinned player, but there were 2 research teams that seemed to be not just twice as likely, but nearly 3 times as likely to give a red card. But interestingly enough, in this viz, Libby, for those 2 teams at the very, very extreme results, and one was statistically significant, another
One was not.
wasn't.
Yeah. But really, really large intervals there. Like they're enormous.
Let's go over to Kwong, who is usually ahead of everyone, Libby, but tonight he seems arguably behind.
Maybe he's pacing himself like a marathon runner because he knows he has to do this twice.
That's true. You can't, when you're running a marathon, you can't sprint it all. That is true.
Yep. He's like, well, this one's not as bad as it could be. I'm going to reserve my energy for the next one because who knows what's going to be pulled out of the hat for the final.
That's right. Let's take a look at John, who is doing something like you were just saying, Libby. He's trying to figure out that left text, and it looks like it might be giving him a little odd problems here.
It's tough. He has he has the stuff, he's got the content. It needs to be stuck over on the other side, and I have no idea how plots and margins and stuff work in Julia. But yeah, it's definitely a struggle. I was surprised that he got those lines across so quickly. And I wonder in Julia if it's the same as ggplot, where like you need to line those annotations up to the same y-axis locations as those and just give them an x-axis location that's really small. I mean, who knows? This is really, really tough stuff. Anybody who's watching this, like, thinking that they could do better, these folks have spent, what, 20 minutes only doing this? This is wild. 30 minutes? How long do they have? They have 40, huh?
Yeah, they do have 40, and they have 11 minutes and 14 seconds left on the clock, which, for those who have ever seen Kwong do VizBuzz, sometimes he spends a lot of time taking a look at how much time he has left.
Everyone's looks really great so far. I am spying on, I think, Tony right now.
Me too.
And his annotations look fantastic.
Yeah, he just needs to switch out the Lorem Ipsum with some real stuff, and like, look what he's doing right now. It's actually very nuanced, and this is the stuff that's going to win you points at the end. He's giving more y-axis room at the top. I like to call this like a breathing, like the breathing of your graph. Being able to see that the max isn't just the last data point, but having a little more canvas at the end just to see it run. He added a little more of that, and it's because the actual graph also has a little of that, but it's because the text, the title text of the graph actually bleeds onto the actual canvas of the graph. The bars, the confidence intervals are actually equal to where that subtext is.
They are. I had not realized that until just now. And also those two upper bars have arrowheads on them, which leads me to wonder if that actually went above the grid, and that's like that's the notation for saying, hey, there are more bars up here, we're just not going to show you.
Looking at Tony's screen, they have less than 3 minutes left, chat. Less than 3 minutes left. Tony Alhaber working on his annotation and trying to size this up as perfectly as possible. Taking a look at Kwong's screen. Kwong doesn't have the colors in, but it doesn't need the colors. He needs all the other elements. Look at these notations. These annotations aren't exactly where they need to be, nor are they the right colors either. It looks like in the plot, the output looks okay, but we'll see if he actually can get this to the right spot. Looking over at John Edwards' screen, he is still struggling with some of the annotation. He does have all the text on there. It's just kind of overlapping on each other, jumbled on each other. He is working kind of guesstimating some X or some Y coordinates just to get this on the page. He does have 2 minutes, 10 seconds left to do it all, Libby.
Oh boy. Oh, he was dealing with something a second ago, which I deal with in Python all the time, which was Matplotlib does not have a subtitle. It's like title and then subtitle for super title, which puts it above your title. And it kills me every single time. And I end up making the title field my subtitle and the subtitle my actual title. It's confusing. So I wonder if he's struggling with some of those same things in Julia that are just finicky.
Yeah, looking at some of the text, some of the functions he's calling, it looks like they're all just text, and he's just changing font sizes in order for them to match. But even the font sizes themselves are giving a little. They're not exactly precise. With 1 minute, 17 seconds to go, he is struggling to get all the text on the page. Let's go over to Kwong. Kwong, he keeps looking back at his plot that he's exporting from GGSave. It looks right as the output, but that preview screen's kind of making it feel a little askew here. And then taking a look over here at Tony's screen, Tony, he's been slow and steady, and he's been he just needs to put in the actual text at this point. His internet connection a little, maybe it's me too, but his internet connection, it's giving me a little distortion, but I don't necessarily see the right text yet. Maybe he has that going, given the lag. 30 seconds left, Libby.
Maybe he's making a judgment call between text and something else, and he's like, forget the text.
Oh, Tony does have his submitted, and Kwong is about to submit his too. This is John's. John is using the last 15 seconds. He's trying to put something on the page. His text is so close, but he doesn't have all the legends. He doesn't have all the annotations, and he does have.
So close.
He needs the background color. Is the background color right too? It's gonna matter at the end. Okay, it is done. It is done.
Pencils down, everybody.
Pencils down. Oh no. Here's John Edwards. He has this as his entry. Let's take a look over here at Kwong's. Wow. That's crazy that Kwong didn't actually go with the colors that he had. He just skipped on the colors completely.
He didn't. Yeah. I mean, he still represented the data as far as the color coding goes. So maybe he figured he's got everything else there and those annotations will make up for it.
And then, oh my goodness, here is Tony's. And Tony's is pretty good here, Libby.
I have not gotten to see Tony's yet. Hold on, let's take a look. Ooh, so visually, aesthetically, really good. We still have Lorem Ipsum in there, but it looks really, really good. This is going to be really difficult to judge.
Me and Libby, we will discuss this on our own. Wow.
Were we muted while we were watching that happen?
That's crazy.
All right. 3-way tie in the chat vote until the last second. Somebody else voted for John.
That is dastardly. That is wild. That is wild. John squeaking out 5 points, and the second and third are tied, so they will both split the remainder of the points. 2 points each. 2 for Tony and Kwong each. And Libby, would you like to tell the audience how we did it?
Yes. All right. So we took a lot of things into account. Everybody had the data correct. The data looked right, and so it really came down to aesthetics. And for us, that meant Tony, Kwong, and then John. Kwong had amazing annotations, but overall, Tony's aesthetic was really, really on point. All of his font sizes were good. His spacing was good. Just gave him that tiny edge over Kwong this time.
Wow. So with Tony, Kwong, and John, Tony getting 5, Kwong getting 3, and John getting 1, we actually do have a wild 1 point dividing each of them. 2 point difference from top and bottom. The fantastic image comparison tool VizBuzzBot will decide.
I'm excited. John in the chat says, don't ever let anyone tell you pandering doesn't work.
So this will be the decider here. Let's see. Running the comparison now. The baseline to beat the Kwong penalty is once again being applied.
Kwong. Ooh, that is really high.
This is very high. This is 90.3 to beat. 90.3 to beat. And obvious, like we were saying, Libby, the background plus where the elements are, he was sizing it up, making sure that everything is really close. This does look like it has a lot of overlap, so.
Tons of overlap. Yeah, this might be Kwong's strong suit. Tanbot is a make or break.
Let's go with John Edwards. John with 6 points. Needs to be 90.3 to have a shot at taking game 1. Running it now. 91.3! Oh my god, 1% better!
No way. All right. Didn't expect that because I thought that there was a big white space difference on John's.
But remember, he sized it so it's perfect pixels, and look where his dots are. He is getting the
They're
perfect. Dots. He's getting the perfect dots.
Oh, John, that's amazing. All right. So Tony has to beat 91.3.
Okay, and John's in the lead right now, so he does need to beat John
Yep.
to win it.
The-
to win-
John could take it if his Tanbot was better.
Oh my god, 87.6!
Oh, Wait, is that right? Did we put the right URLs in? Oh, the upset. Oh, I live for the upset. This is
That
amazing.
crazy.
John says he'll reveal his Tantastic tool secret after the finale.
That is crazy. That means Tony
John, are you
actually,
min-maxing for the tool?
Tony only getting 1 point out of the Tanbot, even though you and I gave him max points. That is 3 points for Kwong, and John with 5 points, 8, 8, and 11 for this first lap. Libby,
Oh
John-
my goodness.
John is ahead in lap
How did
1.
John, this is amazing. Congratulations. Everybody worked really hard on this one. And you're going to have to do it again in just a minute, but wow.
That was insane, Libby.
We had a 3-way tie right before it was broken for John. And now we have at least one tie happening. I'm happy. This makes me happy. This means we don't know what's going to happen.
That's right. So just putting this.
No
in
one
our
is running
minds.
away with it at this point. There's still everything to play for.
It's quite literally us voting one way, the opposite for Tanbot, and because of chat really helped decide the points going into round 2 now. And round 2, we're keeping these points just like we did in the regular season. And now we're gonna spin it one more time